do not eat because you are anticipating your sugars will go low. When you get a hypoglycemia, treat the hypoglycemia and proceed to your food. Do not overthink it, because what happens, you are hoping you will get a low blood sugar, so you've taken all the junk you can. At that point when you're expecting a low blood sugar, you actually have a high blood sugar. So we don't want you to be too low or too high. So don't preempt it. Yes, don't preempt it. Are you on a mixed insulin or you are on a basal bolus dose? Mixed. So then we have an issue with that one. Not the brand, we have an issue with mixed insulins. Because it gives you a certain amount of long acting and a certain amount of short acting. So the short acting might be used up and you require some more, but you have no way of adding. Because if you add, you'll add the long part, which you may not need. So it doesn't quite give you a... I know most people like mixed insulins because you only get to inject twice. Looks convenient, but in the long run, you might land yourself into complications. So you're better off with the long-acting insulin separately from the short-acting insulin, so that you don't have to worry about, so now that I've injected, what will happen? With the short-acting, the rapid-acting, food is here now, I need to eat this, I'll inject. So I'm not injecting to give it time to work. No, only when the food is there. So if the food was not there and there is no cause for your sugar to go up, you don't inject it. You leave it. You go on to the next meal.
But you understand in some situations, especially na hii Kenya yetu, tuseme unaenda job mahali, ama tuseme unafanya technical courses. You don't have that time that you umebebana na ka food stuff, unangoja hypoglycemia ikushikange. That is why you would be the best candidate for multiple dose injections, so that when that food is not there, you don't have insulin that is lagging in your body. So the mixed insulin, you already injected it and you know you might not have food. So that makes you get worried, and that's why you want to overeat. This other type that people are using, that if it's lunchtime, you inject and then you eat. It will be lunchtime and there is no food, you'll not inject. You'll only inject that time in the evening when you have the food. It's flexible. Okay? We'll talk about it off the camera, because then somebody else picks it and goes and does that, and it was not meant. So that one I'll address off the camera. Thank you.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
But you always complain about stomach. I don't know why.
About stomachache. Yeah. Do you ever test the sugars at that point?
Sometimes they are high, sometimes they are down. But even when they are at 5,
how old is the child?
6 years.
Okay. And the kumwa na tumbo, is it when food has been given?
Sometimes, yeah.
So usually there are two things here with that group of children at that age. Either you don't want to eat, so the stomach has to pain. 2, the sugar is too high. You remember what I was saying? The chronic hyperglycemia, that now it is leading to that stomach pain. So if you find that the sugar is high, that is what we want to address. Otherwise, it might be maybe they have an infection that you know nothing about, okay? So just go for a stool test, you know, just check. It could be anything. It could be they went out and another child was eating something else and they ate, or probably they have some issues with gastritis, you know. It could be anything. So mention that to the doctor, but randomly you can also just decide, let me go to a lab and ask for a stool test, so that we see if we pick anything else and we are able to treat that problem at that point. But if the sugars are high, that is what we need to correct. Okay? Yes.
Let's say you've measured your sugar levels and they're like 6 and you're not hungry. Do you really have to eat?
Why do we eat? Why do people eat? Maybe that's a question we should answer. Why do we eat?
We live to eat.
We live to eat, or we eat to live? We eat to live, yes. Why do we eat?
To get energy.
To get energy and nutrients, to grow, in your case, all right? Also, when you stay hungry, the high chance is that the next meal you see, you will gobble it down. Mommy will not be able to tell you, I think you're eating too many chapatis. You see, you will be fighting at that point. So we also just want to eat our 3 main meals in the day, if we are privileged to afford it, so that you do not create hunger for the next meal, okay? Again, kids have this thing of, I don't feel like eating, I don't want to eat, and then you run to the fridge and want to eat everything else that is wrong. So that is the problem. We just want you to not take your sugars too low and to not force your body to want so much so that the next time you eat, your sugar is too high. And we want you to grow. And food will give you the right nutrients to grow and to give you energy. So that when you're playing football, you're not the one falling and all the other children are not falling. Okay? Then you say it's because I'm diabetic. And that point, mommy will say, no, my child is diabetic. Every time they go out, they always fall down and they stop you from going out. That is not what we want. We want us to live like anybody else. I can tell you for sure. There are so many people with diabetes, type 1s, who have lived to be everything that they have wanted to be. They are working, they're doing everything that they want to do. They are good super athletes, you know, they're participating in competitions and doing marathons. So there is nothing that stops you from being who you want to be. They are doctors, they are dietitians, so we can be everything and anyone that we want to be.
Maybe you've gone out and you didn't carry your bag for the medication, and then like he has like supper. So when you come back home, I don't know if this is right, like after 2 hours, now give him his shot. That's okay.
Will you have checked the insulin?
Yes, no, the sugars.
Yes.
Yes.
You'll have checked the sugars, and probably you find them at?
About 10. Already.
And what dose are you giving at that point?
The normal.
The normal dose.
Yeah.
So that is not right, really, because you see, if you have a rapid acting insulin, the Humalogs, the Apidras, the Novorapid, it is plus 15 minus 15. So with food, or 15 minutes before or 15 minutes after. Okay? Because it's a mealtime insulin. So if you've gone for 2 hours and the sugars is at 10, after 2 hours you expect the sugars to start coming down on their own, and you're still giving the same dose that you needed. You see, that's a problem. Long acting you will give. Long acting is not food based. Long acting is, even at rest your body produces sugar and it needs insulin to take care of that. It has no peak. All right? So you'll give the long acting, but you might want to titrate the dose of the insulin that you're giving after that, depending on what was eaten and just the wisdom of, am I correcting this sugar for what reason? Have you been taught correction factor? You've been taught something called correction factor? Are you on Lantas and something? Okay, again, that's off the camera, because then it's very patient based, individualized. So that's off the camera. Remind me. and just get this. The reason I'm taking some of these things off the camera is, unfortunately, human beings are a weird lot. Whatever they hear me telling you with those doses, they will go and practice and then run to social media and say, she's the one who said. But that was just meant for your case. All right? Yeah. Exactly. So you too, off the camera. Ask the next question.
Concerning what she has said.
Because Actrapid is a human insulin short acting. So that one is half an hour before the meals for it to work effectively. All right? It is different from the rapid actings, the Apidras, the Novorapids, and the Humalogs, because that's it, with meals or plus 15 minus 15. Some people do plus 10 minus 10. Okay? So then the explanation is totally different.
So it's possible to use insulin mixed, which is a mixture of long and short acting, and then another insulin of short acting like that?
Dose titration depends on the person who has given you, what is available in their facility, what the patient can afford, and how your sugars are going so that it fits you. So all these are possibilities. All these are possibilities. And yes, they're being used. So it is just for that particular patient to know this is what, and to understand that your mixed, for example, which is a mixed human insulin, will require half an hour before it starts working. Same as your Actrapid, which is a human short-acting insulin. All right? But then when you are on Lantas and, no, not Lantas, you are on Novorapid and Humalog Mix 25, or you are on Humalog Mix 25 and Humalog. They are all mealtime insulin. So they actually inject on the go. All right? And you don't need that half an hour waiting period. So again, very individualized. Only when you have that insulin can we discuss it. All right. Last question, so that people don't get hypos.
This waiting period, like you have maybe like mixed you inject and then you have to wait 30 minutes.
Yes.
What if you eat before the 30 minutes? What's the effect?
So The human insulin come in molecules that are combined like this. So usually they're combined in molecules of 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. Okay? So first of all, they will separate so that it is 2, 2, 2. Okay? Then they separate into 1, 1, 1 molecule. That way, the body sees it and is able to use it. Before it separates, which takes anything between 15 minutes to 45 minutes. We do 30 because that's the average. You don't want it too early or too late. Okay? Before it separates and you eat, what happens? The digestion has started happening. Your blood sugar is already rising. The insulin is not working. Okay? The moment it starts working, the sugar has already gone up and has started coming down on its own. But now the insulin is working. So you come from a very high sugar to a very low sugar. You eat again and the cycle continues. So utakuwa tu on a roller coaster. High, low, high, low, high, low. Yeah. So that's why we tell you, give it that half an hour.
So are you supposed to take insulin mixed before taking a meal or after a meal?
Half an hour before your meals.
Before?
Any human insulin. Whether it is mixed or it is Humulin 70/30, half an hour before your meal. Act Rapid or I forget the other short acting, Humulin R, okay? Half an hour before your meals. As long as it's human insulin, half an hour before. The other types of insulins are called analog insulins.